For those of you who know me by now, know that I'm such a sucker for sentimental narrative cozy games. I've always been so fascinated by personal stories and how much of our personality is tied up in the stuff that we own. That's basically the core of A Storied Live Tabitha, which just came out on April 14th. It's a narrative puzzle game that's less about the how of packing up and more about the why. You aren't just clearing out a room or a house, you're effectively deciding how someone is going to be remembered in their memoir. So, like if someone walked into your house right now, for example, and had to pack up your entire life into boxes, what story would those objects tell? Would they find the professional you or like the hobbyist you, or maybe a version of you that you've kept hidden away all this time? This game is kinda like unpacking meets a little to the left a little bit, but for each of the item in the house that you see, you have choices to make of what to keep and what to let go. It adds a layer of weight to every decision that you make, which is a very interesting gameplay. This video is sponsored by the game publishers over at Secret Mode, so I wanted to take some time today to show you why this game feels like such a personal experience to me. When you first step into the house, the game doesn't give you a massive checklist of to-dos. It actually encourages you to just explore naturally. You're moving from room to room, you pick up trinkets, everyday items, personal treasures, things like that. But here's where it gets interesting. As you look closer at these things, you realize that some of them might not be as innocent as they first appear. You might find a letter tucked away or a specific item that contradicts the version of Tabitha you thought you knew. The game does a great job of making the house feel lived in. You're uncovering the story through the context of the environment. It's that feeling of being a bit of a detective, but instead of solving a crime, you're solving a person. The actual gameplay loop revolves around the spatial puzzles of packing. You have limited space in your boxes, which means you cannot keep everything that you see. You're constantly forced to make a choice. Do you keep an item, sell it, or just throw it away? This creates a genuine sense of tension. It's easy to say, I'll keep this, but then you find something else that feels even more vital to Tabitha's story, and you realize you don't have the room. So you're constantly weighing the emotional value of an object against the physical space you have left. It makes the act of decluttering feel surprisingly heavy because you know that whatever you let go of is a part of her legacy that might be lost. The coolest part of the game for me is the memoir that you're trying to piece together. As you interact with items and decide what to keep, you're actually unlocking specific words and phrases that help restore Tabitha's life story. The story isn't a straight line, so your choices directly change the tone and the content of the memoir. You determine how the past is recorded: uplifting, silly, shocking, funny, somber. The memoirs have many potential branches, and every decision is yours. It gives you this sense of authorship over her legacy. You're not just a passive observer. Your perspective on what matters is what ultimately shapes the final story. It's a very, very clever way to merge puzzle mechanics with deep narrative consequences. I think what I like most about A Storied Live Tabitha is that it respects the player's intuition. It's an emotional experience that feels very gentle and honestly very replayable because you want to see how different choices might have painted a completely different picture of Tabitha's life. It's a quiet, thoughtful game that's I feel like it's just perfect for a rainy afternoon, when you just want to get lost in a good story. And this game reminds me actually a lot about my grandma for some reason, who passed away back in 2009, because I think it's kind of rooted with this sort of like familial love and feeling. And I sometimes would still look at her photos and videos from back in the days, so it just kind of reminds me of her a lot. If you want to experience this for yourself, a Storied Live Tabitha is available now for PC and Nintendo Switch. I've put a Steam link down in the description below. Definitely go check it out and give it a look and see what story you end up telling of Tabitha's life. Huge thanks to Secret Mode for sponsoring this video, and thank you all for watching. As usual, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.